you have the privilege, not only just working with Dr. Dre, but just the experience. Like I think that has to be. I don't care, young, old, new, whoever. I think that's kind of every producer's dream in the world to be a fly on, at least a fly on the wall in that scenario.
There's nothing in the world like it. There's not one producer, and I give my respect where respect is due. I'm always give my respect to Diddy. I'm from New York, so I'm always going to give my respect to Diddy. I'm always going to give my respect to Timbaland, Teddy Riley, all these different producers. But there's nothing like working with Dr. Dre. Nothing.
Mm.
There's
Not,
nothing like it. Like I've been here. I've been working. I've known him for over 20 years, but I've been working with him close to the same amount of time.
wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I just keep learning things, and I would not trade this for the world. I wouldn't.
Once again, we're back here again. Check the Credits podcast. Today we have a very established, very creative producer who's accomplished a whole lot. Worked with some of the best and some of the greatest artists, some of your favorites. I mean, we talking about Dr. Dre, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, J Lo, Beyonce, Busta Rhymes, Schoolboy Q. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, nothing to do right now but to bring this man in. I want to definitely give him a good shout out and a thanks for joining the podcast today. We have here with us today on this episode our boy Focus. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, brother. How you?
I want to start off basically speaking on, like I said, you're a producer, you're also a musician, and want to talk about that a little bit more in terms of your start and your inspiration. What got you into music? For all the people who don't know.
All right, for sure. I'm the son of Bernard Edwards from Chic. He was the bassist and co-founder and co-producer of Chic. So it's all I've ever known. I started trying to create at around 6, writing my own songs. And I went to work with my father around 8 years old. And I just saw what he was doing and I was so impressed with it. I wanted to be exactly what he was. So, I knew I wanted to be a producer at about 8 years old.
Okay, okay. So I went into speaking about some of the artists you actually work with. But if you don't mind elaborating a little more, and letting the people know some of the records. Like I said, this podcast is called Check the Credits. So we want to know exactly the credits on some of those records that you've actually done.
For sure. Let's go to Beyonce. I did the record Yes on Dangerously in Love album. I did You Already Know for 112 on their Pleasure and Pain album. Where I'm From for The Game. I did a few songs on Dre's last album, Compton.
Definitely.
I had a chance to produce with Dre and Q-Tip on Anderson .Paak's first commercial
Wow.
album. So that was amazing. And I've done stuff with Little Brother. Um, I just did their last single, Black Magic, on the May the Lord Watch album. So it's been a good. I've had a good career. I really have.
Definite, definite. Okay. And tapping into your musician side, I know again, I know you're a musician. I know you play keys, bass, drums. Uh, how do you feel, or what's your take, or if you do feel any way as far as like samples and interpolations, or versus like original creation, music wise?
It's. I believe that a creator. There's a reason why there's different ways that you can create. It's like paint. And when you have your paint set up, it depends on how you feel. I think that a creator needs to learn how to create from feeling instead of worrying about which one is better, or which sound is different, or whatever. Like, it's just use it. I like to make myself pliable, so I like to sample when I want to sound a little bit more grungy, a little bit more urban. But then there are days where I'll go into the studio and I just really want to create soundscapes. I want to create, my own thing. So it just depends on how I feel.
I mean, you've worked with some who might call him one of the greatest producers ever is Dr. Dre, and
Mhm.
I know that there's millions of stories. I mean, it's endless things you can speak about that. But what was that initial experience? And I mean, basically, how did he even come across you? How did y'all even meet up and start working together?
I was working with Jason Weaver. Jason
Okay,
and Jay Weave had this company called Boob Tube, and that's how I got out to Atlanta. So I started working with Jay Weave and Boob Tube, and Jay Weave had a roster of artists that he was working with, and one guy that was signed to Boob Tube or working with Jay Weave, his name was Dax. So
okay,
Dax and I just sat down and we made just an extensive demo. And because I had some kind of knowledge of the West Coast sound, I really was his go-to producer at the time.
okay.
So Dax's people were the conduit to Dre. They wanted us to get this demo together so they can present it to Dre. And Dre heard our demo. Me and Dax ended up in the studio and on the Wash soundtrack. That was around that time.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it was really dope. Like, it literally went from us making a demo, and then the next thing I know, I was in LA. It was
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, that would blow my mind. Okay. Um. Again, also, being having a musical background, especially in today's, I don't want to say less musical. I would probably say, do you find any challenges in terms of you being, as musical as you are and having the background and understanding about music? Do you find yourself making it being complicated for you to, some would say, dumb it down to kind of fit in, or do you just, again, just make music as you make it?
I'm always going to make music the way I make it. I'm never gonna fake. I'm
Exactly.
never gonna dumb down. Um, I do feel that I do feel limited, but at the same time, these producers that are on top, they're starting to bridge the gap between old and new. So,
Gotcha.
like, my boy Khalil is constantly in
Oh yeah.
studio, doing stuff. 1500 or nothing. They're constantly being musical and adding to certain people's repertoire. Illmind, so I'm more I'm more open to working with the younger producer, but I just really create from where I feel, and I don't let what's going on around me even change that.
Okay. 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 Also, speaking about today's time and a producer, writer side of things, even engineering and mixing, um, which I could almost guess, but which do you prefer, being in the studio, being a part of the creative process, or emailing and sending tracks back and forth?
I'm an introvert, but I love being in the studio with a fellow creative. I think that that's where
Gotcha.
the true magic comes
Magic
from.
happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I agree 100%.
yeah.
Um, and also, so as far as again, you have a whole host of placements. You've worked with tons of artists. What do you think the best way to secure? I know in that time it was a lot. I don't want to say easier, but the navigating and being in rooms was a lot easier to sell and place music. But today, with all of this emailing, because it does still take a part of almost the initial contact with somebody. What do you think the best way or the most effective way today for a producer coming up, or even an established producer just trying to get his feet moving around again? The best way to secure placements.
You know what? You're right. A lot of this stuff has changed, and there's no right or wrong way. I know of producers that put their beat on engines like BeatStars or iStamp,
Yeah.
and the beat gets picked up by a major artist and it becomes a big placement for him. I know of producers that have put it on YouTube and the record
Mhm.
has become big for them. But it's not the same way. You can't get to these artists like we used to through an A&R. A lot of these people are creating their own bond by unfortunately it feels like spamming, but really
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hitting them in DMs and doing stuff like that. So it really is the luck of the draw now. These A&Rs are not as forefront as they used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like it is
Definite.
it's a harder job now, even for them because they have to go by analytics and it's not so much the hands-on approach with a lot of these artists. I've met some A&Rs that definitely have proven me wrong. They do take a hands-on approach with their artists, but it's very far and few in between.
I agree. Um, Also, uh, I'd like to know your take or your perspective on. I mean, you've been around just like I've been around. Through the different eras from hardware to software, the combination of the two. Which do you prefer, and why? If you do have a preference, and why?
Okay, okay. I apologize for the brief interruption, but I need y'all to stop for 1 second. Do me a favor. I need y'all to hit that subscribe button. Then I need y'all to hit that like button. Then I need y'all to hit that notification bell. Also, if you can, I need you to comment, engage with me. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, what guests you might want me to interview. Even if you got some questions you'd like me to ask them. You know what I'm saying? Just tap in with me. Also, if you get a chance, follow me on all social media platforms at It's Chop Diesel. You can follow the podcast at Check the Credits Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Okay, okay. Calm down. We back. We about to get right back to the regular scheduled programming. Come on, y'all. Come on.
I'm always going to be analog at heart, but I prefer the digital age. I prefer this
Okay.
whole like it's so much easier, bro. I don't have to bring
More
50
convenient.
yeah, I don't
Exactly.
have to bring 50 million pieces of equipment to make one
Yeah.
record, you know what I'm saying? Or I don't have to link up through a MIDI box to
Oh
Symphony.
Lord.
Yeah, man.
Stripe and tape. Those was the
Yeah,
days,
bro.
brother.
So I'm very happy. I'm even happier because I really lasted as long as I could with hardware. And Siege Monstrosity was like, bro, you can do all of that in a DAW.
Yeah.
You're tripping.
Yep.
And he got me into Logic, and ever since I've been locked.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's my weapon of choice as
yes,
well.
sir.
Logic. I love Logic.
Love
I love it.
Logic.
Um, okay, so yeah, so we definitely on the same page when it comes to that. And would you where do you consider yourself? I mean, I know where I would consider you, but where do you consider yourself a beat maker or producer?
Oh, I'm a producer. I'm a producer.
Hands down, hands down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I. But you know what? The funny thing about it is they both coexist now under producer.
Mm, yeah,
And remembering back in the day that we can even go back, and I always use this example, but Quincy Jones didn't play any instruments on Thriller, and he
exactly.
was that. But the man did play instruments before, but for Thriller, he just produced the whole entire thing.
Yes, he put the whole project
He put
together.
it
He
together,
found the writers, the producers, the musicians, everything, and orchestrated the
charted
entire
everything. Yes,
process. Yeah, yeah. Which again, for you young producers out there, young beat makers, because that is a thing, right? I ain't gonna say right now, but it's been a running thing for years. I mean, it
yeah.
probably started with Puff, where people said he didn't produce records because he didn't officially tap on beat machines or sequences and keyboards and things of that nature, but I've worked with him over the years, and he definitely has a hands-on approach. Not technically a hands-on like making beats, but
Yeah.
from start to finish on a lot of those records, those ideas came from him, and
And you can
start to
say the
finish.
same thing with Khaled. Yeah,
Definitely.
you can say that with Khaled. Like Dre, I've seen Dre.
Oh, Dre makes
Dre,
beats.
yeah,
That's
I
that's
know
yeah,
he makes,
that's without a doubt. Yeah.
but Khaled, I know a lot of people were having issues with the fact that he is putting his whole tag on people's other producers' beats, but he's also bringing in the artists. He's bringing in the top line. He's bringing it, and he's making sure that this thing
Orchestrating the
comes
whole
together.
entire.
So
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
that is
most definite.
production. Yeah, that's production, and he gets his props for that.
Yeah, and as well, I mean, I've seen Khaled over the years. Even starting out, he was actually making beats. I think it was going under the name Beat Novocaine. Was him and DJ Nasty, I
Okay.
believe, back in the day. So he makes beats. I mean, I don't know about today what he's doing, but I know he physically knows how to make beats.
Yeah, he
Um,
doesn't do it today, but that's
yeah,
fine.
got you.
Yeah.
All right, it's a double question. I want to ask, what was your, or what would you deem your best studio experience? And if you don't mind sharing, what was your worst studio? I have tons of worst studio experiences, but what was your worst studio experience?
Yeah. My best, one of my best, because
Yeah,
I have too many with Dre. Way too
I
many.
could only imagine.
Yeah,
I could only
way too
imagine.
many. Like even just mixing alongside him and the fact that I look up to him, he's my mentor. And to mix alongside him and to hear him give me reasons why he does things. I wouldn't change anything about that. But one of my favorite moments in the studio is when I was mixing Yes with Tony Maserati.
Wow.
And we were across the street from Beyonce, and she was writing, I think, at the Sony building or the Sony studios in New
Mm,
York. And the people at the label were like, well, she wants to hear the mix, so bring it over there. And I stood next to her, and my mix came through the speakers, and standing next to her, I was in awe. I was in awe. Like I honestly and truthfully was like, man, this is crazy. And when the song went off, she was like, it's perfect.
wow.
That's all she said. I was like, done. We're gonna print. I went over there. I told Tony, and that was just one of the best moments of my life because I really got on. The album should have been closed. I should not have gotten that
Gotcha.
album. So it was just a amazing moment all the way around.
Dope, dope. Um, and I know today there's a lot of producers online showing you their process, making beats in real time. What's your take on that? Do you think that that's something they shouldn't do, should do? Do you think it takes away from the mystique of how things are done, or are you open with, having somebody basically be able to tap into your whole process?
That doesn't bother me at all. Nobody's going
Okay,
them tapping into my process does not give them a leg up or a leg under. You know what I'm
got you,
saying? If nothing else, it lets them know that it's not just them that creates the way that they create, or
got
it
you.
gives them insight in a different way to create. Now, back in the day, the mystique was dope, but the internet took the mystique away a long
Away
time ago.
completely.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're not showing it, somebody else is. So it really doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah,
So
it's more of a marketing tool as well now to brand yourself and
well,
let people be able.
100%, but not just a branding tool, it's a relevancy tool. The moment that you turn around and sit out of sight, out of mind, these kids is on to the next thing. So it's I think that no matter what, as content, I think it's very wise to do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
got you. All right. You don't have to name a dollar amount.
Okay.
But
You know I got away with
yo,
not telling my worst story too, so I'm good.
yeah, I'm gonna let that go because I know how that go. You still actively in the music business, so
Yeah.
I understand how that go. Like I said, I got tons of them, but you got to save face.
Yeah,
So
I just don't wanna burn no bridges, but
nah,
y'all
I
know who
got you.
y'all are. Y'all need to get
Yeah,
your egos in check. Get your
got
egos
you.
right.
Yeah. So what? I mean, you can give us a ballpark figure because these are some, some special records and special artists you work with.
Mm,
What was your biggest in one check for placement? Not the residual income. What was your biggest? You don't have to name who it was, with label, anything, but the biggest check, and compared to you starting out, what was like the first type of money you was getting starting out placing records professionally? I
okay.
know we all got a local
Professionally,
story with
yeah.
the, yeah.
But if you're doing, like, ghost programming and stuff like that, I think 1500 was, like, the most at ghost programming. The least would be at, like, 500. So starting from there, and then, um, I was blessed to have a $37,000 check on a track, and I was
Ooh.
still on my yeah, that was just for the track, and then, um Yeah, then it just turned around and it lost its mind and the album lost its mind. And then I think my residuals, and I know you didn't ask, but my residual check, my first check was like almost 100 grand.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was back in those like is those checks. I haven't seen them in a minute.
Yeah, and again, I was talking to because I also mentor and consult a lot of younger and up and coming independent artists as well as producers, and kind of explaining because they asked me a lot of questions about placing records and being on different projects, and I was telling them the difference in today with the placement. With streaming being the way that it is, it almost we could be a part of an album. You may not have the lead single, you may not have the biggest record on the album, but you still see residual income from the album sales because it was a physical sale and that album was sold as a collective. Whereas today, you can have an artist can have, you know, three of his songs can make his entire album go triple or multi-platinum, and if you don't have those singles, you don't have any radio play or you don't have any
You don't have no streams.
you
Yeah,
ain't got no money. Yeah, you're not
yeah.
making any money, and you know what the money off streams is like as a writer and a producer. So
It's penny
you're
dust.
not yeah you're not saying nothing on that end.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
bag of
so
penny
that's
dust. Exactly.
yeah. So it also what do you prefer? I know today it's a little different, but what would you prefer, or do you prefer working with major artists or major labels in terms of uh the placements and working with artists or independent artists?
I love working with talented artists.
There you go.
I love working with talented artists with no egos. I love working with talented artists that do not mind going on a journey when we're trying to find the perfect record. I don't like working with egotistical people that feel entitled. I don't care if you're
Got you.
signed to God or you signed, you know what I'm saying? Signed to man, I'm good. Like I'll pass on
Nah.
that project every time. I do not deal well with ego and I don't deal well with entitlement. I don't.
Okay, okay. I apologize for the brief interruption, but I need y'all to stop for 1 second. Do me a favor. I need y'all to hit that subscribe button. Then I need y'all to hit that like button. Then I need y'all to hit that notification bell. Also, if you can, I need you to comment, engage with me. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, what guests you might want me to interview. Even if you got some questions you'd like me to ask them. You know what I'm saying? Just tap in with me. Also, if you get a chance, follow me on all social media platforms at It's Chop Diesel. You can follow the podcast at Check the Credits Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Okay, okay. Calm down. We back. We about to get right back to the regular scheduled programming. Come on, y'all. Come on.
Got you, got you. Okay, okay. That I mean sums up a lot right there, my brother. Yeah, I mean, so don't come at the man with the BS.
Come on.
Be on your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
Be creative. There's definitely a lot of ego. With the industry we in, we deal with a lot of people with egos. I think to be from an artist perspective, in my opinion, sometimes with producers as well. But I think to be an artist, there's a form of and a level of narcissism that has to exist because you wanting constant attention and being receptive to that and being able to, So sometimes it's learning how to tread the lines of going too far
It's a
and keeping that
persona.
at bay. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a persona. If you're gonna turn around and put on that persona, don't put that persona on around me. Because we're in the no, but it's real talk. We're in the studio trying to do the same thing. So if you're bigger
exactly.
than me in this studio experience, then right now we're not even looking eye to eye. So we're never gonna get an equal amount of work done. You feel
That's
what
a
I'm
fact.
saying? So I'm like, at the end of the day, man, come in humble. I'm not in there beating my chest. I don't need to tell you what I've done and who I am and why I'm here. And let's make a record, man.
That's a fact.
You know
That's
what
a
I mean?
fact, man.
Yeah.
And you have an extensive list of people you've worked with, but I'm sure there's somebody or some producer, artist, writer, that you would like to have worked with or plan to work with. You mind disclosing that? Like, who would that be? Who would be
I
on
would
your
love to
list?
get a Jigga record before Jigga puts his hat up. I would
Uh,
love to get a Mary J. Blige record. I would love to get a record with Kim Burrell. I think she is
ooh,
just
oh yes,
phenomenal. Um, but again, I just want to work with talented artists. That's it. You know what I'm saying? But those are like I still have yet to get a Jay-Z record. I wish I could have got a Biggie record before he passed, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that's crazy. I don't know why I thought you had a collaborative record with Dre with Jay-Z on one of those
Nah,
projects.
nah. That's that whole Kingdom Come album. I
Yeah, that was the album where Dre did a lot of
yeah,
production
and
on
I
it.
was
Yeah.
too busy working on Detox. I hate saying that word because it.
That's the album
Yeah.
that we won't ever see, I don't believe. But
Hey.
I would just love to sit in the studio and hear those records, man. You have the privilege, not only just working with Dr. Dre, but just the experience. Like I think that has to be, I don't care, young, old, new, whoever. I think that's kind of every producer's dream in the world, to be at least a fly on the wall in that scenario.
There's nothing in the world like it. There's not one producer, and I give my respect where respect is due. I'm always give my respect to Diddy. I'm from New York, so I'm always going to give my respect to Diddy. I'm always going to give my respect to Timbaland, Teddy Riley, all these different producers. But there's nothing like working with Dr. Dre. Nothing.
Mm.
There's nothing like it. Like I've been here. I've known him for over 20 years, but I've been working with him close to the same amount of time.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I just keep learning things, and I would not trade this for the world. I wouldn't.
Yeah, man. And I mean, I see you doing your thing online as well. I follow I think I want to say it was Waves, where you were
Oh
sharing
yeah.
some of your secrets on how you do things. Me and some of my producer friends, we always tap in and share those videos. I was like, yo, you seen this new Focus joint right here? You better check this. This is the closest we getting to Dr. Dre right now. So hey, in time, who knows? But right now, this is the closest thing, right? So we tap in all the time, man.
Thank you.
Definitely a fan of your work. One of my you mentioned earlier, where I'm from on that Game album is one of my faves, but a low key sleeper that I believe is one of the craziest joints you did, outside of the Compton. The Compton album's crazy, but Respect the Conglomerate.
Oh wow. Yeah.
That was, I'm from New Jersey at the time. I'm living in Atlanta now, but at the time I was in New Jersey and New York. So, that record used to smash, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Smash.
Thank you.
And again, bro, you told me, your weapon of choice is Logic, but
That was before that.
Oh yeah, I know that. That had to be that was NPC days, I'm
NPC,
sure, right?
exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I used to stalk your videos then too. Quick question too. I remember it was I think it was an artist. This was during like the blog era. It was an artist named Focus, and I think you guys kind of joined and did a project or did some records together.
Yeah, that's the homie from the Lower East Side of New York. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I always used to watch. At first, I thought that was you because I was heavy on the blogs at the time.
A lot of people did, and it's funny because that's how he and I got good. Because,
oh wow.
Yeah, like I got to the point where it just started getting old, and all these kids, like this one kid, and I never got to see his face, but this one kid literally like banged on me, like on some real like, homie, you don't know who you talking to. Like, I'm Focused. I did this record and this. I'm like, homie, I did the record.
Wow.
Like and he was really banging on me. And so I kind of went into this mode. I did a mixtape and one of the records was There's Only One Focus. And I started banging on them, like all the Focus.
Yeah.
But then me and him spoke and he was like, bro, I would never disrespect. So I put him on the record. So there's two Focuses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dope. It was dope.
Okay, man. And so now, I do remember you doing music from almost like an artist standpoint of rapping and performing. Is that something you still pursuing or?
Yeah. I'm doing a project with Denon Porter, Mr. Porter.
Oh yeah. Another one.
Yeah, he's a beast. And Them Joints was another.
Oh yeah, another monster.
Yeah, so
monster.
We're called Read the PDF, and we're gonna
wow.
come up with a project this year that's about to. It's gonna sit on us here.
Yeah, we need that. We need to raise the bar and the frequency on music right now,
Wait
man.
till
We
you
definitely
hear
do.
this. I promise.
I can only imagine, brother.
I promise. This is amazing.
Okay. I think I got as much as I needed to get up out of you today, brother. But I appreciate you
I
for
appreciate
tapping
you.
back in and reaching back out to make this possible. Again, you can let everybody know where they can tap in with you for any any business, any social media, any sponsorships, any type of thing you got going on. Just let them know where they can reach out to you at.
All right, for sure. If you want to hit me, the only thing that I do in social media is Instagram, and it's at focus the number 3 DOTS at focus 3 dots. That's it. Um, Definitely for the producers, I'm gonna get way more involved with the Waves movement, and there's some really great things happening. So definitely stay in tune there. Isotope and Native Instruments, that's my family as well. Stay tuned there. We're gonna be doing some things. Um, Look out for Read the PDF if you want to follow us individually at I am Danan, I believe his is, and Dem Joints is at Dem Joints. And then we also have Read the PDF at Read the PDF. So that's going to be coming out soon, and just look out for our music. We're just going to be bringing some great music.
Okay, my brother. So that wraps up another episode of Check the Credits, y'all. We had none other than the great, legendary, and still popping, still dope.
Thank you.
Focus.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So at this point on, all we want to tell y'all is to keep an eye out and check the credits. Peace, y'all.